Welcome to DrupalBrief. This is an AI-generated summary of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is sponsored by Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is an open-source, lightning-fast demo, development, and testing platform. It spins up Drupal sites in less than 5 seconds, complete with a browser-based VS Code. Want to try Drupal CMS, Drupal AI, Experience Builder? No need to install anything on your laptop. Drupal Forge has you covered. Even Composer, Drush, and AI keys are pre-installed so you can hit the ground running. Demo Drupal in less than 5 seconds only at Drupal Forge. Please take a second to click subscribe. We're a new podcast and this helps us a lot. Okay, that's it. Ready? Here we go.
Have you ever found yourself building something completely from scratch, only to find out later that loads of other people have already solved that exact problem? Or maybe you've tried to get up to speed on a complex project and you just, drown in jargon and disconnected info. Well, yeah, you're definitely not alone. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're cutting through all that noise to explore something pretty crucial, how government websites are actually being built and managed, specifically in the U.S. We're diving into something called GovCMS US. It's a new open source nonprofit initiative, and honestly, it sounds like it could be a real game changer for digital government services. It seems to be filling this surprising gap that's existed for a while in the U.S. digital infrastructure. So our mission today, unpack this whole project. We're going to pull out the key insights from the sources you've shared with us. We'll look at why it was created, what it actually is, and maybe what it isn't, and really importantly, what this all means for you, whether you're just navigating government services online, or maybe you're involved in actually creating them. We're drawing straight from a pretty engaging presentation on this, so yeah, expect some interesting details.
Yeah, and what's really compelling here, I think, is that this project isn't just about, the latest tech buzzwords. It's really a strategic response. It's tackling these fundamental systemic inefficiencies that have, frankly, plagued government digital projects for years, decades even. So this deep dive, it won't just shed light on the solution GovCMS US, but also the bigger picture, the implications of collaborative knowledge in the public sector. And it makes you wonder, right, in this era of advanced digital tools, why has the U.S., arguably one of the world's leading nations, been kind of lagging in this specific area compared to some of its allies? Let's dig into that.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that problem. I remember hearing this story, maybe a couple of years back, about a federal agency. They needed a new section on their website. Pretty simple stuff, relatively speaking. But because they had to build everything from the ground up, just like dozens of other agencies were doing for similar things, it took them 6 months. And cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. They were literally reinventing the wheel for basic website functions. And that's the core issue GovCMS US is trying to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McCathan, he's one of the presenters we heard from, got over 15 years in Drupal development, which is, that popular open source CMS. And he's spent more than 10 years specifically on government projects. He pointed this out directly. He's seen it firsthand. Agencies constantly reinventing the wheel. Teams spending months, even years, he said, building the same functionality that another agency had already solved.
Wow. Months or years.
Yeah. And that obviously leads to high costs, unpredictable timelines, and he put it, a lot of great work was being duplicated instead of shared. I mean, just think about that in your own job, right? The sheer inefficiency, the wasted taxpayer money, all those missed chances for better, faster public services. It's kind of mind-boggling when you really stop and think about it.
Absolutely. And ultimately, this isn't just about, lines of code. It points to a fundamental lack of a standardized shared blueprint, a way to operate a website over its entire life cycle. The people, the processes, and the technology. Our sources, they make it really clear. While other countries have set up successful models for this, the U.S. has had this significant void. It's almost like you had all these individual experts, right, all trying to solve the same puzzle in their own separate rooms instead of pooling that knowledge. One presenter sort of alluded to this idea of the crowd providing wisdom versus just one expert. A centralized shared knowledge base, well, it could absolutely stop individual agencies from constantly having to figure things out from square one every single time.
Right. So, okay, if the problem's that clear, what have other countries done? Because turns out others have already cracked this nut. You've got GovCMS Australia, for instance, that's run by their government's finance department. And it acts as this central hub for everything: government websites, standards, templates, procedures, processes, even vetting vendors.
Mm-hmm. A government-run model.
Exactly. Then there's Local Gov UK and Ireland. Now that's a bit different. It's a collaboration between local agencies. They maintain shared standards and templates for their council websites, and it's funded by the agencies themselves, not the central government.
Okay, so an agency-funded collaborative.
Yeah, but here's the kicker, the really interesting part. While the name GovCMS sounds similar, GovCMS US isn't trying to just copy those models. The presenters were really explicit about this. It's designed specifically to fill the US gap, which apparently has its own unique challenges.
And that distinction is absolutely critical. You just laid out these other models, government-run in Australia, agency-funded in the UK and Ireland. But the sources really stress that for the U.S. context, this non-profit open-source consortium approach was maybe the only way it could realistically get off the ground.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, apparently there was significant initial resistance from agencies towards anything that felt like a top-down mandate from the government, another unfunded requirement, or something dictated from above. So this unique nonprofit structure, it kind of sidesteps that. It positions GovCMS US to foster collaboration, maybe without triggering those typical bureaucratic turf wars.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does this specific nonprofit kind of vendor-led but community-focused model, how does that actually work to get buy-in and encourage shared contributions in such a massive, complex environment like the U.S. federal government? Okay, so if it's not exactly like the others, what is GovCMS US then? Well, at its core, it's this nonprofit open source project set up as a consortium, basically, a collaborative group effort. Think of it like a comprehensive blueprint for building and managing government websites over their whole lifespan. It's not just one piece of software like saying it's Drupal. No, it's about the whole picture. The people involved, the processes they follow, and the technology stack they use.
Right, the entire operational lifecycle.
Exactly. And its core goals. Pretty straightforward, actually. Bring together technologies, people, processes. Act as a repository for proving templates and solutions that work. The vision seems simple. Start projects faster, better, quicker, reduce the overall cost, increase speed, partly through automation, and importantly, improve quality control with professional oversight baked in.
This really represents a shift, doesn't it? Moving away from individual agency silos towards more of a collective intelligence model. The whole idea is to aggregate the knowledge, the experience, the best practices from all sorts of sources, not just, the select few experts within one department. And as you mentioned, that nonprofit structure is just paramount. It was explicitly chosen because, like one speaker said, it wouldn't have worked any other way.
Right.
It's designed to foster that shared contribution, that collaboration, rather than competition between agencies, which you can imagine might happen otherwise. It encourages them to share what they know without feeling like they're losing some kind of edge.
Okay, let's talk compliance. Because for any government website that's not just like a nice to have, is foundational, right? And GovCMS US seems to integrate this right from the start. We're talking templates that are USWDS compliant. That's the US Web Design System. It makes sites look consistent, trustworthy.
The standard look and feel.
Yeah. And it also builds in Section 508 and WCAG accessibility standards. That's the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. They're aiming for the highest level, AAA, which means ensuring sites are usable by absolutely everyone, including people with disabilities. Then there's FedGram compliance for deployments. That's a big government standard for cloud security. And even HIPAA, the Health Privacy Act, with considerations for the hosting environment.
So comprehensive compliance built in.
But it goes further than just, checking the boxes up front. The platform aims for continuous compliance checks on every single code, change every commit, checking for Section 508, security issues, SEO best practices, performance bottlenecks, accessibility problems. One speaker mentioned this idea, apparently suggested by the VA and HHS, of getting an instant report if you clicked on a button, detailing any compliance issues right then and there.
Wow.
Yeah. It just shows how deeply compliance seems to be woven into the whole thing.
That focus on continuous compliance, and also the AI integration we'll probably get to, it's fascinating. It directly addresses those real-world pain points, like, having to drop everything and address your security checks whenever an audit pops up. That's a huge time sink for agencies. Imagine the impact. Instead of these reactive fire drill checks that pull everyone off task, you get proactive, integrated assurance. That's a potential game changer for agency workflows. And the system seems designed to be pragmatic, too, allowing both open source and commercial products for compliance tools and other functions. As one speaker put it, it's not about secretly trying to sell you a condo in Florida, right? It's about finding consistent, effective patterns that actually work for agencies in the real world.
Right, pragmatism. And beyond just compliance, let's talk sheer efficiency, speed. This platform provides a range of templates, and one of the presenters actually said you could spin up a fully compliant Drupal site in just 5 seconds.
5 seconds, seriously.
5 seconds? I mean, my laptop takes longer than that to wake up sometimes. That's the kind of speed they're talking about. And these templates, they come from different places. Community contributions, best practices shared by agencies, even contractors can contribute and showcase their starter kits.
So a real ecosystem of starting point.
Exactly. We saw a demo in the source material from Sean McCathan showing his template. It had some really impressive features, especially for content editors, like dynamically built navigation menus and data tables pulled directly from CSV files, simple spreadsheets. Imagine content managers updating complex site structures just by editing a spreadsheet, no code needed.
That's huge for non-technical staff.
Totally. It also had ready-made content types for things like careers, pages, and FAQs, with features like auto-categorization and little new or updated labels, plus dynamic organizational charts. And get this, they mentioned an upcoming AI-driven PDF to content translator.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Yeah, so this tool is designed to automatically extract data and images from existing PDF documents, create individual content pieces, or nodes as they call them, in Drupal, and make all that locked up PDF content fully searchable on the website. Imagine the thousands, maybe millions of PDFs sitting on government sites right now that are basically black boxes. This could unlock all that information. Think of the hours saved.
Those features, especially the dynamic content from CSVs and that AI PDF translator, wow. They aren't just, cool bells and whistles. They are massive time savers. Think about the countless hours government folks currently spend manually updating repetitive content, or worse, trying to make ancient, often inaccessible PDFs searchable somehow. It's a nightmare. This kind of automation, it directly translates into freeing up incredibly valuable human resources. It lets web teams focus on actual innovation, on improving services for the public, not just on tedious, repetitive maintenance. It really shifts the burden, doesn't it? From constant manual effort to relying on smart automated systems, it definitely raises a question. How will these kinds of deep integrations fundamentally change the day-to-day work for government web developers and content managers? Could it empower them for much higher value tasks?
Something else that really jumped out at me from the sources. This isn't just about giving people pre-built templates and saying good luck. They've actually built an entire development platform around it. It's called Drupal Forge. Think of it like this. Instead of spending, days maybe, setting up your personal computer with all the right software versions, tools, configurations, which can be a real pain, especially in government IT. This platform gives you an instant, fully equipped, secure, virtual coding workspace right in your web browser.
Like a cloud-based IDE, essentially.
Exactly. Preloaded with essential tools like Composer and Drush things, Drupal developers use constantly to manage code libraries and run commands. It completely eliminates that whole local setup headache. For agencies, that means a new developer, or even a contractor, could be genuinely productive in minutes, not days or weeks.
That's a significant speed up for onboarding.
Huge. And it's a big win for team collaboration and control, too. You can easily add or remove developers, maintainers, other team members, and you have really granular control over who can access which code branches they can work on. So your QA team, for example, could spin up a specific branch just for testing without any risk of messing up the main code or the live site. There was even this memorable quote. Someone joked about being able to knock them out of your control panel if a developer goes drunken with their code.
A bit dramatic, but it makes the point about control.
Right. It just vividly illustrates the level of administrative control and security they've apparently built in. And the key thing is, no more shifting laptops around, no dealing with complex onboarding or offboarding procedures for equipment. Staff can just log in and start working almost instantly.
That degree of control over the dev environment, coupled with that rapid onboarding and offboarding, it directly tackles some major challenges in big government projects. It means faster time to productivity for staff, absolutely. But it also fundamentally improves the security posture. You're reducing the risks associated with developers having potentially insecure local setups. Everything happens in a controlled, consistent environment. It creates that consistent starting point we talked about. One of the contributors, I think, mentioned how nobody installs that USWDS theme the same across different agencies or projects. This kind of platform helps eliminate that inconsistency right from the beginning.
Yeah, consistency is key, and it's also really crucial to understand this. GovCMS US itself does not actually do the website hosting.
Okay. That's an important distinction.
Very. And it sounds like a deliberate, pretty smart choice to avoid potential conflicts of interest, you know? Instead, it acts purely as the development and management platform. Once your site is built, tested, ready to go live, you simply export it. And you can deploy it to pretty much any major hosting provider you want, a Quia, Pantheon, Amazy, AWS, Bluehost, whoever the agency already uses or prefers. And here's another cool part of that sharing ethos. If you, as an agency or a developer using the platform, build something really great, maybe a new feature or a whole site configuration you think others could use, you can actually export your site as a new template.
Yeah.
And contribute it back to the GovCMS US community, further enriching that whole collective intelligence pool.
So it facilitates not just consuming templates, but contributing them back as well.
Yeah.
Nice virtuous cycle.
Exactly. So, okay, who are the people behind this? Because it sounds ambitious. Is it just a couple of folks in a garage? Nope, not at all. This isn't some tiny startup. It seems to be a movement backed by some really significant proven experience. We already mentioned Sean McCathan. Heard directly from him in the sources. Over 15 years in Drupal, 10 plus on government projects, worked on the HRSA website. His endorsement was powerful. He said GovCMS solves a real-world problem he's seen repeatedly.
Real-world validation.
Then there's Joel Linman. Get this, 25 years in federal IT, worked with the USDA, Voice of America, the U.S. International Trade Commission. Joel's background includes actually architecting the solution for Voice of America that handled, wait for it, 1.2 billion hits per month across 50 different sites.
1.2 billion. Okay, that speaks volumes about understanding scale and robust architecture.
Right. Clearly demonstrates the technical foundation here is solid and understands high-demand government needs. Other key people mentioned, Pritam, who's the CEO of OpenSense Labs. He's on the board. And his company has a product called Drupal Fit, which focuses on that continuous compliance checking we discussed. There's Kelly from HHS, also on the board, bringing that invaluable direct agency perspective from Health and Human Services. We also heard about Stephen Musgrave from Abomo. Apparently, he maintains the main USWDS theme for Drupal, the official design system integration, and he's contributing to GovCMS US. And the presenters themselves, just listening to them, they clearly have extensive experience across multiple agencies. One mentioned doing an upgrade or migration every 3 months. This really feels like a collective effort of seasoned professionals who felt the pain points themselves and are now building the solution.
The caliber of those individuals, yeah, it's truly remarkable. And it brings us back to that interesting structure, doesn't it? What does it mean for a project like this to be, quote, vendor-led? Because many contributors come from companies serving government, yet operate under this nonprofit open source ethos. Well, it means you're getting a breadth of experience from seasoned professionals across the ecosystem, many who have, as you said, faced these exact problems firsthand for years, sometimes decades. And now they're channeling that experience into a shared solution, not just another proprietary product. Those testimonials, hearing from people like Sean or knowing Joel's background, they're powerful because they come from individuals who've lived the frustration of that duplicated effort, of those inconsistent implementations. They aren't just pitching a tool, they're advocating for a fundamental shift in how government approaches technology, moving from those isolated struggles to a model of collaborative strength.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've taken this deep dive into GovCMS US. We've seen how it directly tackles that huge reinventing the wheel problem in U.S. government digital projects. From its unique nonprofit open source model designed for the U.S. context to its robust built-in compliance features covering Section 508, FedRAMP accessibility, to the innovative stuff like AI integration for tedious tasks like translating PDFs, and that powerful cloud development platform simplifying team collaboration. GovCMS US really does offer a comprehensive blueprint. Ultimately, it's about giving you a shortcut, a way to get well-informed about a project that genuinely promises faster, more efficient, more secure, and more compliant digital experiences across government. And the goal, reducing costs and improving quality by finally fostering shared knowledge effectively.
And the success of GovCMS US, if it achieves its potential, won't just be about the technology itself. It'll be a testament, really, to the power of collective intelligence, of open collaboration solving complex systemic issues that maybe seemed intractable before. Which leads to a final thought, perhaps, a question for all of us to consider. What other areas of government service delivery, or even beyond government, could benefit from a similar open-source, community-driven blueprint approach? Where else could we shift from fragmented, isolated efforts towards shared innovation? We'd encourage you to think about the ripple effects. How might this kind of framework inspire similar initiatives, maybe in other public sectors, maybe even your own organization? How can we better break down silos and leverage shared knowledge for much greater impact?
That is a wrap on today's Drupal brief. Remember, this was an AI-generated summary, so be sure to check out the original source for the full story and all the details. Before you go, if what you heard today got you excited about trying something new in Drupal, remember that Drupal Forge has you covered. Whether you want to test that new module, demo a concept to your team, or just explore the latest Drupal features, you're literally 5 seconds away from a fully loaded development environment. No downloads, no setup, no hassle. Just pure Drupal innovation at your fingertips. If this episode was helpful, please hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It really helps other Drupal developers discover the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next Drupal Brief.